Cheryl here. Welcome back to my channel. I got another great video for you. You know, we are burning up down here with 100 plus temperatures, and it's even higher than that. You know, the heat index is much hotter. So I've got to cover everything up that I want to save, okay, until we get through this very hot period of our summer. Then it's going to cool off, and we're going to have some great gardening weather. Letting you know what I started now under shade cloth. And then when the fall comes, they'll be ready to produce. And I'll share with you what that is, okay? And another thing I want to tell you, that everything that I purchased to put in this garden, I purchased it on sale at Lowe's with my Gardening Girl Grill. Okay, let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove a lot of this soil out of this container, because we know I grew tomatoes in it, right? And it took a lot of nutrition out of the soil. So I'm going to replenish it with new soil, and I'm going to take the old soil and I'm going to put it in here where I can grow more flowers that don't require as much nutrients to feed them as the tomatoes. So let me get that done, and I'll come back and I'll show you. So now you can see I put all that soil in this 15-inch diameter pot, and here is a 15-gallon pot, which can accommodate at least 2 tomato plants. And I'm going to put them right here. And let me show you what I did. You can't hardly see how deep that is down here on video, but you can tell how low this soil was before I filled it all the way to the top. Now I'm going to add some Bigger potting mix, and then I'll plant my tomato starts. I've never grown this tomato variety before. It is a hybrid. It's called Heat Masters. And it's supposed to be bred to take real hot temperatures. So I'm going to give it a try, especially since I wasn't disappointed in the tomato starts that I purchased in the spring. So yeah, I'm going to bury this very deeply. I actually think this is 2 plants. You see right here? That's what I look for when I'm buying stars, to see if I can get 2 for 1, but I will know once I take it out of the soil. I'm going to pinch off this bottom leaves that will turn into branches, and the tag says to bury it the pot 2/3, but I'm going to bury it down further than that, and I've shown you that in various videos. So just go to my playlist for tomatoes and peppers, and you can see how I buried this. I don't want to be redundant, but I do recognize the fact that I have some new gardeners that are reaching out to me and telling me that I've helped them. So just know that I'm going to bury this tomato plant as far down as I can. In fact, I'm going to pinch off this leaf right here, and then I'm going to see if I can separate these. If I can, I'll show you when I get back, because it's early in the morning. The sun is not up. Well, it's coming up now. I don't have any help, so bear with me. I started moving the soil around. I can tell these are 2. So I'm going to plant both of them together, but I'm going to space them apart about 6 inches. Okay, so you can see that I planted both individual plants into this pot. And this pot can accommodate both of them because it's more than 10 gallons. And as long as you have 5 gallons per plant, it'll be fine. This is cypress mulch, and it's what I use over there in the spring and over here. And it breaks down slowly, and it retains the moisture. You can use leaves. You can put compost on top of your soil, but the main thing is don't leave it bare this time, because you need that moisture into that container, because we will soon get to 116 degrees. Now it'll take about 70 days, between 60 and 70 days, for these plants to mature. So I'm counting back about 50 days. That'll give me all of July and most of August. And then it might start putting on flowers. And what I will do is I'll pinch the flowers off until temperatures are consistently below 90 degrees. So I'm going to add this mulch, and whatever you do, don't put that mulch that has dye in it. You know, like right over there in the pathway over here, that's okay because I'm not growing food there. But you don't want to put that dye in your organically grown food. We have that mulched in very nicely. And if you're wondering what's surrounding the tomato plants, it's onions and society garlic that will repel non-beneficial insects. Here is an impatient that is named sun patience because it can take a lot of sun and it can also tolerate shade, as you can see here. And so I thought it would be perfect. And this is the deal. It was $10.98, but it was 50% off. Bria and I picked up 3 of them because they can also tolerate high temperatures. This plant is going to triple in size. Okay, that's from me experience growing it before, but it says it'd be good if you grow 3 of them together. So I have 3 of them, and I'm gonna put one in a pot over here. So I've ordered some new pots right over here. They're only like $7 at Walmart. Plant like this, that's root bound, you wanna just break the roots up a little bit. You're not gonna disturb them to the point where they won't continue to grow. They will, trust me, I do it all the time. And then I'm gonna put it down here. And I'm going to dig down just a little bit lower. That looks good. And then I'll spread soil all around it. In this 25-gallon pot, I'm going to do the same thing I did over here. I'm going to put 2 cherry tomato plants in here. And I'm going to dig holes real deep, put the soil in here that I would use for flowers, and keep it moving. I'll be back when it's all done. Hey guys, I'm finished. I did the same thing that I did over here. I removed the bottom leaves. I dug a hole, put all of that soil in here so I can grow flowers in this pot. I put some new Vigoro potting mix in here. And I know you're wondering, well, how is she going to fertilize it? Well, I use compost tea, and then I have my comfrey to make comfrey tea. And the roots are going to go all the way down in this 25-gallon pot where there's a lot of nutrition in that soil. Okay? And I just want to tell you that a lot of people say gardening is hard work. I agree, and then I disagree. I'm going to tell you why. Okay, in a few days I'll be 70 years old. I can't do what I used to do. I used to stand up and bend my back and just wear myself out. Well, I'm sitting on a garden bench. I shared that with you before. I'm not standing up to do the work. Another thing is I work smart, not hard. I'm going to wait and water everything in at the same time as I water the rest of my garden. That's up under the shade cloth. You see how that sun is hitting over there, but it's not on here. So that's why I started right here. Because, one, I need to put the tomatoes here, and then I want to don't be working out in the sun. Another thing is, I used to sing this song in my video, grow your own, eat your own. It's not hard, you can do it. What I mean by that, you can't just plant something and forget it. You know, you heard that saying, set it and forget it in some commercials. No, you can't do that. But you see how I set myself up for success? I did not remove the tomato cages when I removed the tomato plants because I knew I was going to dig some of the soil out, replenish it, and put more plants in. Because in Garden Zone 8A, Mesquite, Texas, I grow more tomatoes in the fall and winter than I can in the spring because we are in our rainy period and everything gets real wet. But now we're in our drought period and we'll be praying for rain. So I said all of this to say this. Gardening is not hard work if you work smart. So I didn't have to reattach and tie together the cages. They're here. I didn't have to plant repelling onions because they're already here. You see what I'm saying? So work smart and not hard. This was very easy to do. Now I'm going to add a little bit more soil in here and I'm going to plant another one of those sun patience. In fact, I'm going to put 3 of them, 1, 2, 3 together. Since direction says to plant 3 together, I never do that, but I'm going to try it. Hey, you never get too old to learn something. I try to learn something every single day. That's how you keep your brain active. And if I don't believe something that I hear a gardener say, and I recommend that you do the same thing, Google it. Google it to find out if what they're saying is the truth or if there's another way. Okay, guys, here are a few pearls. I mentioned this when I was planting the other container, but I want to mention it again. When you're looking for your starts, look for ones that have maybe 2 seedlings in it. Now, I didn't separate these when I was removing the leaves, and by the way, I just buried the leaves. It just will decompose and turn into nutrition. But when you're separating them, be very careful. As I tried to separate these 2, see the 2 stems here? I was breaking the roots up too much. And even though tomatoes have the ability to put roots all the way up the stem, I didn't want to take the chance and disrupt it too much. Okay? So that's a nice pearl. Another thing I want to share with you is this. Be sure, and I think I said it already, you know I'm getting old. Be sure to heavily mulch your crops this time of year. Yeah, I did tell you because I told you about the different types of mulch you can use. But I know one thing I didn't tell you. With your shade cloths, you see the shade cloth is going to go all across here. It can lower your temperature between 10 and 15 degrees. So during the day, where there's no sun out in this area, but as you can see, it's sun out over in that area, I'm going to leave the shade cloth up. The way I clip them on with these little clips to get from Amazon or these zip ties, I can just push it up. Put a stick in front of it to hold it in place, like so. Shade cloth will save your crops. Please trust me on this. And so now all I gotta do is mulch this one, transplant another sun patient, this one right here, and then I'll be through with this area. And all mulch is not the same. Okay, I mentioned earlier, don't get those dyed mulches because you don't want that dye to get in your food. But the cypress mulch, in my opinion, is the best. It holds the most moisture and it breaks down slower. Therefore, it will retain more moisture into your containers. Cypress mulch, I bought this in the spring of the year and I made sure I had some left for the fall garden, which I'm planting in the dead of summer. But this mulch is really going to keep it cooler up under here and the shade cloth as well. This is society garlic. You guys know that I believe in planting this. It's a very pungent smell, but if you eat it, it was named society garlic because it doesn't make your breath smell real bad. But you can see it started shooting out another piece right here. So I'm gonna go in and propagate this. I'm gonna cut it right down the middle here, and then I'm gonna plant it over here. I removed it from this pot when I noticed that was 2 growing out of 1. So get you some society garlic, plant it around your tomatoes. I mean, it really helps. I didn't see not one non-beneficial bug or insect in these 3 pots. So where there was 1, it is now 2. And you don't have to wait for them to callus over. You can go ahead and directly plant them right now into this pot. So I'm just going to take my finger and I'm going to move some of this mulch back, put 2 fingers down in there, stick this society garlic right there, pat it down, cover it up with mulch. And since I have the marigolds, which will help me keep the non-beneficial insects off of it, and I'm going to put 1 right here. Just pulling the mulch away a little bit, sticking it way down in there, making sure the roots are all pressed in, and I'm done. Guys, in just a few minutes, I planted 1, 2, and that's really 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tomato plants. And remember, I found these starts on sale, half price. Somebody probably forgot to water them. And we usually don't have starts in our stores when it's past 100 degrees. Tomato starts, that is.
Good morning, guys.
Okay, Bria and I are starting off early this morning. As you can see in this container where I had previously grown tomatoes. I'm not going to replenish the soil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these sweet potatoes that I found were sprouting while I was on vacation, and when we got back we put one of them in some water, and as you can see it's beginning to leaf out. So what we're going to do this morning is we're going to place the potatoes not too far down into this container. It's a whiskey barrel, a plastic one, and it's surrounded by onions. And we're also going to plant in here. We're going to drop a few seeds. These are beans. They are bush beans. So this is what's going to happen. We're going to plant the sweet potatoes. Come on, baby. I need you to help dig out another area. I want you to put one right here. Okay? You can take the little shovel and you're going to shovel the soil right here. Just like I did right here. Just deep enough to put the sweet potato in. Get enough soil out of there and the wood chips. Put it into that container over there. Isn't this pretty? That's the society garlic blooming. Baby, you want to dig a little bit more in there, okay? And then I'm going to put that sweet potato right here. You're going to take the soil that you put in there and just spread it on top of here. No wood chips, just the soil, okay? And we don't have to cover it up a lot, just enough to make contact. Actually, it is too late to be planting sweet potatoes. However, since we got it, bless you, baby, I'm going to just put a little soil, see what I removed. And it's going to start leafing out. And then we have this one here in the container. You're going to do the same thing. You can take your hand and pull the wood chips back first. And then this is where I want the little hole right there. And just put it right here because we're going to use that same soil. Just scoop it out a little bit. That's good, Bria. That's good. Just get the wood chips out. And then we're going to take this one that already have leaves on it. If I can get it. And I'm just going to place it down. There it is, guys. And we're just going to place it, the soil back on top of it. And you can see some of the leaves coming up. Please keep in mind that all I'm going to do with these sweet potatoes is grow slips. Later, I'm going to dig them back up and remove the potato because it'll only rot in the ground. And then I'll put the slips in. Usually, I start this process in the spring, but since God gave us this blessing when we came back from vacation, I thought I'll just use it. And I've done this before. And I will link that video in the description box and in the comment section to let you see that it will work. Now, here are the beans. What we're going to do, look. I'm going to put my finger down about 1/2 of an inch and I'm going to drop a bean and put it in there. You can pre-soak the beans, but I'm going to water this real good. And by it being so hot, it's going to grow. You want to do that on that side over there? You're going to start from here to here, going in a circle. You drop one, cover it up, and don't go down more than 1/2 an inch or an inch.
Like that?
Okay, that's good. And cover it up. Cover it up good, baby. Pat it down so the birds won't get it. Okay, guys, we're going to take a few marigolds that Bria deadheaded from this plant over here. You showing them, Bria? And we're just going to sprinkle some of the seeds around in here because the marigolds will deter the bad insects. Okay, this looks like some better seeds here. Just gonna sprinkle some. You see the black part of the seed right there? You have to make sure that you plant that as well. One thing about marigolds, I'm gonna go over here and plant some, Bria. They're not real finicky. That's a bean there. They're not real finicky. You can move them at any time. So I'm just going to put a few little seeds and I'll put them any place in the garden where I need to put them. They are good or will keep blooming until the first freeze. Once it gets 32 degrees or lower, they'll die off. Since this is a huge pot or container, I'm going to sprinkle just a few Will Roger zinnias. They're giant zinnia. And I'm just going to put probably 4 seeds right here. All right, guys, this is what the container looks like. It's July 1st, and we're going to let you see what it looks like in a couple of weeks. Well, maybe even sooner when it starts to sprout. Guys, I want to end this video by sharing with you that the okra seeds are beginning to germinate. You can see one right here and here. And they germinated in one day. And over here in this smaller container that gets more sun, I'm gonna lift up the shade cloth and show you. See those okra seeds? They germinated. And I have some more over here. Let me just walk right over here. There is a smaller pot right there. Bam. So you gotta be careful. They're gonna burn up if I don't put the shade cloth on them, and I have to come out twice a day to water them. So I'll just water them now, and then I'll come out in the evening to water again. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm a little out of breath, so it's time for me to stop. And I want you to know I appreciate you watching my video. Please share it if you can, so I can reach more people. And I just want to end by saying that I love you. And you know that God loves you too. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye now. Even though I'm out of breath, I still got to clean up this mess that I made here and turn the water off. And in this plastic bag is insect netting. I'll share that with you in another video.